So we're having a quick look today at this Arlec 10 amp heavy duty power block with USB charging. So it has the RCD on the side there, so you push the test button to trip the RCD. It's rated for 30 milliamps, the current rating for the RCD. It has a 1.8 metre heavy duty cable, and the other end of the cable has a nice clear plug, so you can actually do an inspection on the actual pins there and on the connections. It's got the shielding over the pins, of course. Yeah, like I say, 1.8 metres. It's the thicker core, so it is approved for 3012 worksites approval, and it also has 3190, so it can be used in construction and demolition. It is IP33 rated, not the highest level of waterproofing, probably because of some of the gaps around there, and maybe that isn't completely sealed, but I wouldn't be trying to be using this out in the weather anyway. Does have the two USBs here, and that's a 3.1 amp. I'm assuming that the 3.1 amp is actually total, not individual, but that just means that you've got a higher output there to faster charge phones and tablets. It's good that you can actually charge your phone and tablet while you have this plugged into your worksite. You also got to plug this straight into an outlet, not through an extension cable. Anything I would be checking on this over time would be this cable inlet here. So the other side of this, I mean, it does have a little mark there, I guess you call it. So three sides look to be fairly smooth in the gland there that goes in. Well, there's actually no grommet or anything, but one side actually has the sharp edge of this side of the mould. So while it's good now, I think over time, when that gets worn, it would just be one thing to check. So once we tag this up and put a tag on it, after a period of time, that would be probably the thing that fails if that starts to get cut a bit, if it's getting used a lot and moved around and dragged around a lot on a work site. So that would be one thing that I would be checking even before you get your next test done. The other thing, it's got this plastic here for the stand, which is fine now, but I guess after a period of time, if it's been out in the sun, it's been shushed around on the work sites for a while, concrete, this might break. So I wouldn't expect this to be in a really rough environment for very long, but who knows, it might be good. I guess one thing is that because that inlet is protected under there, it's not exposed, but still I reckon with movement of that cable, it probably will see a little bit of cutting into that over a period of time. But that's the only issue I see. Looks to be fairly good, and of course has the good old Arlec RCD on the side there, which gives you a bit of extra protection for your 4 outlets. And just to show you, if you are considering one of these, I'm not getting paid by Arlec for this review, but just thought I'd review it just if you're looking to buy one of these. The outlets are pointing down, so it won't take a large size plug, so it's got that protection there for, I guess that's for water protection, or also finger protection as well, like there is on sockets. So that does face down and is fairly flush once it's sitting upright. So yeah, it won't take a fairly large plug. If I grab a USB side entry. Let's have a look at that. So it'll take something like that. Obviously, we don't really need that because we've got the USBs there. You can't put in long power banks like this one. So obviously that is not going to fit in there. So even smaller chargers aren't going to go in there. So if you're trying to put a charger in there, it's not going to work. But yeah, just something to be aware that it is fairly tight in this space here. So you might want to check that depending on the appliances that you're plugging in. If you've got bigger connections, but most plugs these days are going to be this size for 10 amp. Obviously we're going to be plugging anything higher than 10 amps in there. But that's as good as it gets. You can pick them up from most hardware stores. There's the trip of the RCD there, and I'll yet to test the USBs. One of the things I just did notice is that when you have the USB plugged in, you actually have to have that flap open. So because the cable actually doesn't have anywhere to run, as far as I can see. Yeah, so that flap has to be open if you're using the charging there. So thanks very much for watching this, and hope if you were considering to buy this Arlec, you thought this review was helpful.